Good evening, McKinna families. This is Mrs. Reagan with some important information as we return to school. First and foremost, we wish everybody a happy new year and hoping that all of you guys are healthy and safe. As we return to school, we want to remind you that it is Monday is our day to come back to school. All of our students will resume school within the OSD district this Monday, January 10th. The state of California does not currently permit school districts to offer distance learning as in previous years. However, we do have an independent study option for students who would like that option. It is very different than what we had last year. If you are interested or if your child is sick and unable to return, please contact Pupil Services and ask them for more information. You can contact them at the district. Students should not come to school if they have any COVID symptoms. What are we doing at McKinna to keep your students and our staff safe? All students are visually assessed as they enter the campus. Students are required to wear a mask at all times while on our campus. And if for whatever reason a student does not have their mask, we will have some available, but we encourage you to bring yours from home. Hand sanitizer is available upon entry in every classroom, and students are frequently reminded about COVID safety. Students are immediately addressed if they are not following the COVID procedures and reminded, to follow them and to wear their masks at all time. Any student that presents with COVID symptoms is immediately taken to the office to be evaluated. What happens when a student has COVID symptoms? Any student with symptoms is taken to the health office to be evaluated. If a student does have COVID symptoms, they are taken to our care room where they will be isolated and supervised. If a student does not have COVID symptoms, it is determined if they can return to school or need to be sent home at that point. Students that are sent home with COVID symptoms can return after 24 hours with no symptoms and a doctor note, or they can return after 24 hours with no symptoms and a negative COVID test result. We ask that students that are showing COVID symptoms quarantine for 10 days. For those students, students will be placed into a short-term independent study if they do have to quarantine for those 10 days. And we will let you know, if that's the case. If your child does test positive at any time, we ask that you contact our office and let us know so that we can place them on the quarantine for 10 days and have them on the short-term independent study program. What happens when a student tests positive for COVID? When the school receives notification that a student has tested positive for COVID, immediately I start the process of contact tracing. Students that are determined to be a close contact will immediately be notified of the exposure and will be given several options. Close contact is defined as being within 6 feet of positive case for 15 minutes or more. Students that are in the same class as the positive student but are not considered close contact will be notified of the exposure, and no action is necessary for those students. What are the symptoms of COVID? And we ask you to do a check of your child before sending them to schools. Make sure that they don't have fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headaches, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, and or diarrhea. How can families help keep our students and staff safe? We encourage all of our students and staff to be tested before returning to school on January 10th. Today, we distributed kits for students to test at home, free kits for COVID-19. And we ask that your child test this weekend. If the test is positive, we ask that you notify our school, through email or phone call, letting us know that your child has been tested positive, and we ask that you keep them at home. We want to make sure that they recover and that nobody else is exposed. Students that are not feeling well or showing any COVID symptoms should be kept home until 24 hours after the symptoms have stopped. Again, however, if they are positive, they need to quarantine for 10 days before coming back to school. Ensure that the school has your most up-to-date phone numbers and email addresses so that we can contact you immediately should your child appear sick upon their return. If there is any exposure to COVID, have your child tested. They should not return until you have a negative test result. Again, all of our families were given a call or a message inviting them to come to our McKinna school today, Friday, to pick up a kit. If you did not pick up your kit, you can still do so next week on Monday. Just stop by our office between 8 and 2 o'clock, or actually our office is open till 4. So 8 to 4 to pick up your kit. If the school calls you to pick up your child, come as soon as possible to pick them up. We encourage all families to have their child vaccinated and boosted as it becomes available. You can visit our school website or the OSD website for information of testing locations. At McKinna, we test Mondays and Fridays. We have a testing station in the back parking lot on J Street from 11:30 to 5:30. These are free at no cost. You can walk up and they will administer a test for you. There's also various testing sites, and you can see them here located throughout the county. We thank you and we hope that you are safe, and we can't wait to see all of our students on Monday. Thank you and have a good one.